I am Andrej Horvat. I'm Deputy Program Director of ULEAD with Europe, and I'm privileged to be a moderator of this municipal partnership forum between Austria and Ukraine. I would like to apologize in the beginning, Mr. Lesirio Bikin, but we have with us Vitaly Protsenko, who is right now in Vienna. So it is a coincidence that we have Vitaly from the Ministry of Development that will welcome us from the sunny Vienna, as Vitaly we said. I would also like to welcome Excellencies. So His Excellency, of course, the Ambassador of Austria, Mr. Müller. Aziz Antilyan, dear colleague and Head of European Integration, Governance, Rule of Law, Civil Society section at the EU delegation, and Mr. Alexander Lesigang from the Austrian Association of Cities and Towns. Yeah, so I would like to welcome all the representatives of the local level, so municipalities from both Ukraine and Austria. So we are, as you lead with Europe, of course, very happy, that today's event is taking place. Namely, since 2018, ULEAD is supporting, since 2016, ULEAD is supporting Ukrainian authorities and the partners in the decentralization regional development process. And now recently we are very much involved in preparation for accession negotiations, or we are helping the line Ministry of Development in this field. Since 2018, we are developing a Bridges of Trust initiative. So it is an initiative that grew from initiative to the community. So we are currently cooperating with more than 20 European member states, but also candidate countries, and with the municipalities, making partnerships between municipalities from the EU, from Europe, let's call it like this, with municipalities from Ukraine, and we are very proud of this. Today's event is organized in a cooperation between the Federal Ministry of European and International Affairs of Republic of Austria, and we are thanking very much our partners from Austria as one of ULEAD's donor countries to participate here and to make a proactive role in supporting Ukraine and in working also with us. This Austrian contribution, and Austrian contribution is centered on establishing sustainable and long-term partnerships between Austrian and Ukrainian municipalities in supporting Ukrainian accession and its decentralization regional development reforms. The main objective of the forum is to strengthen already existing long-term partnerships between Austrian and Ukrainian municipalities, promoting practical cooperation, peer learning, local capacity building, and while drawing on relevant EU cohesion policy experience. And Austria has a lot of experience on the rural development in the cohesion policy in support of Ukraine to EU accession. The result, we would like to have tangible results, and we are very happy that also in the framework of today's meeting, we can present Municipal Exchange Fund A4U, Austria for Ukraine. So it is expected that there will be new municipal partnerships established between Ukraine and Austria, and the existing will be already also deepening. As a first welcome, I would like to give the floor to Vitaly Protsenko from the Ministry of Development. Please, Vitaly, the floor is yours.
Дякую, пане Андрею. Радий бачити насправді. Радий вас бачити колеги з представників органів місцевого самоврядування, радий бачити наших міжнародних партнерів. Насправді хочу подякувати щиро і Федеральному міністерству європейських міжнародних справ Республіки Данія, і особисто пану Андрію як представнику програми ULEAD з Європою, тому що цей форум є дуже вчасним. і є дуже важливим сьогодні для партнерства наших громад та муніципалітетів Австрійської Республіки. Сьогодні насправді міжнародні партнерства і такі міжмуніципальні партнерства між нашими громадами, а також вашими муніципалітетами, це є насправді не просто документи чи меморандуми підписані, це певні напрямки, певні активності, які можуть дати додатковий поштовх для розвитку тої чи іншої території, дати можливість жителям тієї чи іншої території відчувати себе комфортніше, краще в тому чи іншому місці. І сьогодні насправді Україна має два ключових виклики. Перша – це війна, і ми сьогодні маємо 243 прифронтових громади, на яких проживають близько 7 мільйонів людей, які постійно стикаються з обстрілами і стикаються з певними безпековими ризиками, але водночас продовжують працювати і продовжують жити в Україні. І ми маємо величезний виклик – це євроінтеграція, про що пан Андрій казав. Це розділ 22, підготовка, комплексна підготовка України до використання структурних та інвестиційних фондів Європейського Союзу. І саме сьогодні ми говоримо з вами в практичній площині, коли ми пройшли скринінг за результатами розділу 22, коли у нас є бенчмарки, які нам підсвітила Єврокомісія, коли у нас є затверджена програма адаптації законодавства ЄС, і коли ми спільно з партнерами готуємо національний план адаптації за цим розділом, ми можемо чітко говорити про партнерство з різними країнами. І сьогодні випала можливість поспілкуватися з колегами з Австрії. Ми щиро хочемо перейняти досвід розвитку сільських територій. Ми щиро хочемо перейняти досвід співпраці і стійкості муніципалітетів і спроможності місцевого самоврядування. Україна також готова ділитися досвідом стійкості муніципалітетів. Сьогодні Україна це демонструє. Перш за все, насправді, ми сподіваємось, що за результатом цього форуму ми отримаємо практичні навички, практичне розуміння тих процесів, тих підходів, які вже давно працюють в таких розвинених країнах, як Австрія, і зможемо започаткувати це в своїх методичних певних напрацюваннях, в своїх нормативно-правових актах і започаткувати певні експериментальні речі вже в поточному році. Хочу насправді акцентувати, що в цьому році Україна визначила окремий функціональний тип території, як такий сільські території, і сьогодні ми готуємо таргетовану програму підтримки таких територій. І тут насправді досвід Австрійської Республіки нам був би дуже і мега корисний. Ми в цьому році будемо запускати експериментальну постанову «Лідер» на основі підходу цього європейського, тому що розуміємо, що саме безпосередньо євроінтеграція на рівні місцевому, на рівні регіональному є не менш важливою, ніж євроінтеграція на національному рівні, оскільки партнерство і взаємодії вони формуються між представниками органів влади, між представниками саможителів територіальних громад і можуть дати найбільш ефективні речі. Тому насправді сьогодні ми розраховуємо на якісний форум, на якісну комунікацію, на дуже якісні обговорення. І ще раз хочу висловити вдячність нашим міжнародним партнерам за те, що ви нас підтримуєте, і за те, що можемо продовжувати впроваджувати наші підходи і наші напрацювання на майбутнє. Дякую.
Thank you very much, Vitaly. And really, it is a first meeting that we are organizing with the Austrian embassy and with the Austrian authorities in this, and we are having high expectations, of course, that. I would like to give the floor to His Excellency Mr. Robert Martin Müller, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Austria. So, Mr. Müller, please, the floor is yours.
Доброго дня. So a warm welcome to, I think there are 220 people in the online room. That's very good. And so warm welcomes in particular also to Mr. Prozenko and also Mr. Rosbacher and the mayor of Bregenz, Mr. Rich, but also Mr. Lessigang from the Association of Cities and Towns, and of course to you, Mr. Horvath, and most of all, of course, to the Ukrainian mayors and representatives. I'm very pleased to be here, though only online. I can confirm it was very warm already in Vienna. I just arrived 3 days ago, so we're back here. But I'm hopeful that spring and summer will soon arrive in Kiev as well. We are very pleased to support the ULEAD initiative and also this Municipal Partnerships Forum. I think this also underlines Austria's strong support for EU membership of Ukraine. For us, of course, this membership is a merits-based process, and there cannot be any shortcuts. But at the same time, of course, we also understand the geopolitical dimension, and the ongoing Russian war of aggression against Ukraine is, of course, a factor we should never forget in this. Austria has a strong federal tradition, as you're well aware. So issues like local self-government, also regional development and social cohesion are very important. I think for us, it's very relevant also to note that EU membership is not just a whole of government approach or is needed there, but also a whole of society approach. That's why I think it's extremely important to bring municipalities and also civil society and all basically relevant actors of society on board in this process. For us, when we talk about EU membership for Ukraine, we also often stress the importance of making progress in areas like fighting corruption and strengthening rule of law, of course. There we are also open to cooperate with all levels of society and government. I think it's also quite relevant to see that the reforms undertaken in the context of approaching the European Union is not something, I don't think you should see it as an obligation or that you have to do certain homework, you know, prepared by some bureaucrats far away in Brussels. But I think you should see it as an important advancement for your own societies, that it makes you stronger, more resilient. And I think it's something that is in your interest and for your people. And it's also an element in the ongoing fight against Russian aggression. It should lead to strengthen Ukraine. I think we as the Austrian Embassy and the Foreign Ministry always stand ready to help in establishing additional contacts, be it between regions, but also between municipalities. I think these people-to-people contacts are extremely important. And these contacts also yielded also already quite a relevant, a very high number of concrete cooperation projects, you know, items that were sent, humanitarian assistance, other forms of assistance, you know, children exchange programs, whatever. There's a very broad spectrum of activities between municipalities, and we as embassy here are always ready to support this process. Maybe my final remark is a little bit a personal remark. Like Mr. Horvath, I mean, I think he grew up more or less in my region of Europe. I grew up in the shadow of the Iron Curtain, and I'm old enough to remember what that meant, being close to the border of Hungary and Yugoslavia at the time. And I can tell you, I've seen huge progress for Austria over the last decades, also linked, or in particular linked to our EU membership as well. I mean, these border regions really developed extremely positively, be it in Burgenland, Lower Austria, and Styria in particular. And of course, enlargement of the European Union to Central and Eastern Europe was the second most important step, because I think it benefited Austria overall. It brought us from, let's say, periphery position in the European Union to a much more central position. And I think all statistics that are available to us show that it has benefited to our security, it has benefited also to our prosperity. And I think Ukraine is a natural part of the Europe that we see. I mean, apart from, you know, the fact that you have to do your homework, of course, in this context, but I think you rightfully belong to the European family of nations. I'm more and more convinced of that after 1 year, having spent 1 year in this country. I really see the enormous striving of the people towards this goal. So in this context, thank you very much. It's up to you now to implement a lot of this in your municipalities. We wish you a lot of success, and Austria will continue to stand with you in this process and continue to support Ukraine. Thank you very much. Дуже дякую.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. So yes, we are coming from the same region and sharing some historical experience and memories, and that's always very good. And we can all say that this was a tremendous development also for Slovenia since 2004, and we are all supporting Ukraine in that really to get member of the EU as soon as possible, and as soon as the necessary reforms for entering the EU are, of course, implemented. Herewith, I would like to give the floor to my dear colleague Aziz Santillán of the EU delegation, and I'm sure also you, Aziz, have supporting words to our participants today. Thank you. Please, the floor is yours.
Excellent. Thank you, Andrei. Your Excellency, dear Deputy Minister, dear partners, and distinguished participants, Dobry ranok, good morning. The European Union remains firmly committed to supporting Ukraine on its path towards EU membership. In this context, strengthening cooperation between municipalities is not only important, but essential for advancing recovery, resilience, and European integration. It is a pleasure to welcome you to today's Municipal Partnership Forum dedicated to cooperation between Austrian and Ukrainian municipalities. We particularly welcome the engagement of the Austrian government and its Ministry of Foreign and European Affairs in the EU flagship program You Lead with Europe, which focuses on municipal partnerships and regional and rural development. Let me here also make a personal comment. Since my family and me have been residents of Austria for the last 8 years, although the last 2 years and a half I'm mostly in Kiev, my family is still in Vienna. And I had the chance to learn firsthand how the country works, how welcoming it was with the Ukrainian refugees and also with foreigners like me. I mean, I feel in Vienna at home, and how also municipalities really work. They are a good example of how municipal authorities can deal with difficult situations, like, for example, COVID. I was in Austria during COVID, but also how they are providing services to all those residents that live in the country, no matter if they are nationals or European nationals or from third countries. And this is very important because at the end of the day, this is the approach that makes us Europe. This forum is the first joint event that will launch long-term and fruitful cooperation, which will strengthen our shared European future. A key milestone in this regard was the launch of the European Partnership Hub at the Ukraine Recovery Conference in Rome, which provides a structured framework to support cooperation between Ukrainian and European municipalities. We also recognize the important role of the European Alliance, facilitated by the Committee of the Regions, in strengthening multi-level governance and structured cooperation between the EU and Ukrainian local and regional authorities. Municipal partnerships and initiatives like You Lead, Bridges of Trust Community, moved beyond ad hoc cooperation towards a structured, needs-driven collaboration that supports Ukrainian municipalities in rebuilding infrastructure, strengthening institutional capacity, and delivering services under wartime conditions. Municipal partnerships provide practical tools such as internships and study visits, where Ukrainian municipal professionals work alongside their European counterparts and bring the experience back home. These partnerships bring together diverse perspectives to address shared challenges and to design joint project proposals, making partnerships stronger and more suitable. The Municipal Exchange Fund, A4U, is a concrete example of how targeted support can facilitate exchange among partners, fostering collaboration and strengthening institutional capacity. Through practical cooperation and knowledge sharing, it helps local actors align with European standards and practices, advancing EU integration. With a dedicated focus on the municipal and local governance sectors in Ukraine, it addresses the urgent needs of local authorities under wartime and reconstruction conditions, promoting resilient, transparent, and effective governance. Well, I was saying that strengthening municipal partnerships is a key element of Ukraine's recovery and its path towards EU integration. And by building initiatives such as the European Partnership Hub, the European Alliance, and the Bridges of Trust community, we can translate European solidarity into concrete and lasting results. So let me just wish you all a productive and meaningful discussion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Osier, and for the warm words and for the encouraging words. Herewith, I would like to give the floor to our last welcome speaker, to Mr. Alexander Lesigang from the Austrian Association of Cities and Towns. Please, Alexander, the floor is yours.
Yes, a nice welcome here from Vienna, from the Vienna City Hall. I'm Alexander Lesigang. I'm working for the Austrian Association of Cities and Towns. And we have a long tradition in cooperation with our neighbor countries after the fall of the Iron Curtain. I remember the program NOHA Transfer Center, which was started in the 90s. In the late 90s, we had the local government network, Logon, where also Ukraine, the Ukrainian Association of Cities was a partner in this program, which main issue was to support our sister associations in preparing to the EU accession. I also can remember our program BASIT. This was in the last 9 years, building administrative capacity in the Danube region. And all these projects were done in a strong cooperation with KDZ. My colleague Thomas Brok will have a presentation later on. And now we are very pleased that we are able to support the KDZ from the project Municipal Exchange Fund A4U, which is mainly managed by the KDZ. The Austrian Association of Cities and Towns has 260 member municipalities in Austria. We cover about 62% of the Austrian population, and all big cities and towns in Austria are members in our association. There is a second association in Austria, the Association of Municipalities, which has the focus more on the rural areas in Austria. So I hope that our contribution for this project will be a successful part of strong cooperation between our two countries. We know what challenges the municipalities in the Ukraine are confronted, and we will do everything what is possible for us to support you for the way out of the war and into a united Europe. So I'm very happy to be here and wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lesigang. Thank you to all the welcome speakers. So it is a very nice occasion that the most of us sitting here, let's say in some kind of formal role, have links to Vienna, to Austria, and that's very promising also for the cooperation. Now I would like to go to the part that is dealing with the contents, and would like to welcome speakers that are following now. Johannes Rosbacher, who is former and long-standing expert and civil servant in dealing with the EU accession, regional development, rural development in Austria. He will present, let's say, something how Austria is dealing with the regional development, what is important, and very important is what can Ukraine learn from Austria? Then I would welcome Thomas Prorok, Managing Director of KDZ Center for Public Administration Research, who will present Municipal Exchange Fund A4U. And here we have already in the chat a lot of questions, so I would like to ask then to use for answering to these questions either in the chat then directly, or to use the question and answer session that will follow Thomas' intervention. And then last but not least, we have a representative of a partnership, so Austrian Municipality of Bregenz and Ukraine Municipality of Yaremche, and their representatives, Mr. Michael Rich, the mayor of Bregenz Municipality, and Andrei Mironiak, mayor of Yaremche Municipality, will explain how the partnerships are functioning, why it is functioning, and maybe also whether they will apply for the A4U call this time. So let's start with Johannes Rosbacher and his intervention. Please, Johannes, the floor is yours.
It's really overwhelming when I see how many people are interested in this meeting today. 226 people. That makes me almost a bit nervous. But I guess we will manage to run through our my presentation. So I have prepared some slides. The issue of my presentation is the theme of spatial and regional development in Austria, and I will not do a comprehensive lesson on this issue. This would last for several hours, but focus on a special issue which might be of central interest for Ukraine as well, meaning you can already see it in the subtitle, how to deal with an imperfect constitutional framework, which means, of course, this calls for cooperation, coordination, and that will be the focus of my intervention. But first, a slide just with some key data and key elements about Austria, because I guess that not all of the 2,027 people now in the room had already the chance to visit Austria. So Austria is a quite small country with 84,000 square kilometers, a population of 9.1 million inhabitants, which gives a population density of almost 110 people at square kilometer. The relation of urban-rural population following the OECD definition is almost 60-40%, so 60% people living in urban areas and 40% in rural areas. The GDP per capita is 54,000 euro, which is almost 2.7 million hryvnia, and the total GDP of Austria is close to 500 billion euro, which is approximately 25 trillion hryvnia. Have a look on the map on the right side. This is the country, a small country, but 2,700 kilometers of borderlines, located in the center of Europe, 7 neighbors, which is a lot, I would say. We have the highest point is the Großglockner with almost 4,000 meters, so you can see quite a mountainous country. 2/3 of the country are covered by mountains, and half of it is does not allow to have permanent settlements. So because they are cold, there is snow, there is ice, and things like that. The next slide, please. That is already coming more closer to the issue. Please, Sergey, the next. Just put on the button. Yeah, we have, as you can see, we have 3 territorial layers. That's the national level, which has legislative power like everywhere, a parliament, a 2 chambers parliament. We have a federal government led by a prime minister who is called federal chancellor, and we have federal ministries. The next level is the regional level. We say federal state level, Bundesländer, and there's some kind of particularity which is not known in Ukraine, that also the regional level has its own, they have the parliament as well. So they have legislative power like the national level has. Also there we have 9 governments, elected governments, we have 9 offices of the state governments. And then the third layer, this is the municipalities. You can see almost 2,100 municipalities. If you compare it with Ukraine now, with the Hromadas, well, if I'm well informed, this is approximately 1,400. So you see already the size of the Austrian local communities is much smaller. If you take away Vienna as the capital city with 2 million inhabitants, so you can see, and I just checked it yesterday, the smallest municipality has 43 inhabitants, but even having an elected mayor. So the average size of an Austrian local community is between 3,000 and 4,000 inhabitants, which is a big challenge quite often for these local communities to deal with all the services of general interest, to the services, provide the services for their citizens like wastewater, streets, kindergarten, schools, security, and things like that. If you compare it with Ukraine, now with the Hromadas, the average of population there is approximately 20,000. So it's much bigger. That is the introduction, and now let's come to the planning system. Next slide, please. Why did I introduce the 3 layers? Because all 3 layers, as you can see here, have their saying and their rights to work on the ground in the space, and they have administrative and legislative power in that area. For instance, on the federal level, the national level, there's the legislation for many sectoral policies and planning. But the spatial planning, there the regions are in the lead. And the municipalities are doing the land use planning. So, and this all embedded in a cross-border and European context. This gives a quite, let's say, complex, in the subtitle I mentioned, imperfect constitutional or power framework, which needs coordination, I would say. The next slide is a slide for connoisseurs, for specialists. So you will get the slides that will be provided by your lead, and you can really go into detail then what this means, this complexity of plans. Next slide. This is for the normal people, let's say. So what does it mean on national level? For instance, sectoral policy explicitly attributed to the federal level by the constitutions. For instance, the federal road system, railways, water, forestry, electricity, universities, and things like that. Again, on the federal level, there is the competence for spatial planning and comprehensive planning competence, the legislation, and state and regional planning. And on the municipality level, again, you have the local development concept, land use planning, zoning plans, and things like that. And to make it more complex, again, in the area of regional development, more or less, you can see that all 3 levels can intervene in the field of economic and regional development, which means that there is really, complex. This is a complex issue, and therefore this calls for, Sergey, please, next slide. This calls for strong coordination. And this is nothing which has been realized in just the years before, but already in the 1960s and 1970s, people realized that if the competencies are on the different layers and with different players, one needs to talk to each other. And one needs to cooperate without questioning the constitutional responsibilities and powers. And therefore, after several years of discussion, we got a coordination body was set up. Please, Sergei, the next slide. In 1971, the so-called Austrian Conference on Spatial Planning, ÖROC, Österreichische Raumordnungskonferenz. Maybe some principles. So you can see it was set up as an informal standing conference. This is the weakest form of structured coordination, I would say. There is no law. There is nothing laid down. There was only a political commitment of the leading politicians. And the whole thing was just organized by some rules of procedure mentioning the main tasks and how the work should be organized. That's it. But one of the main features of this conference was as well that decisions only can be taken with unanimity, which means that this is a cooperation of equal footing, which is not so easy to understand. So a mayor can talk to the prime minister, so to say, on equal footing. And if the mayor says no, the prime minister has to accept. This is an extreme example. You see the composition of the ÖROC. It was set up as a political board. This is chaired by the federal chancellor. Then there are the federal ministers, currently 13 people. Then the elected regional governors. We have 9 regions, which means 9 people. The president of Association of Towns, so the boss of Alexander Lessigang, who was speaking before me. The president of the Association of Municipalities for the smaller municipalities, and even the presidents of the 5 organizations of economic and social partners. The last 5 people, they don't have voting rights, but at least they are consulting. You see, altogether, these are approximately 30 people, and you can invite them, and they sit in a room and can take decisions if they take decisions after discussions. The structure in total was that, of course, there's the political board, then there was beyond, on the administrative level, there is a general assembly mirroring the partners which are represented in the political board. And beyond, there are committees and working groups. Also, most of the committees you can see the same members or from the same bodies. And the whole structure is supported by the office or secretariat, which is organizing the operational work. I was director there for more than 20 years, and I always mentioned, yes, we are organizing the platform. So we are sending the invitations, writing the minutes, cooking the coffee, and serving the lunch. So to make the best atmosphere that people can talk to each other, find solutions. A very distinctive feature of that ÖROC office was from the very beginning that there are 2 managing directors, one stemming from the federal level, which was my task for more than 20 years, and one from the regional level. This was a very wise decision at the beginning, because already in preparing meetings, in proposing points of discussions, we already could, on the organizational level, discuss the red lines, maybe from the different levels. How far can we go? What can we propose? And I think quite a lot of problems could be solved already before meeting and sitting together. Next slide, please. The tasks that were attributed to the, I think there is one slide in between. Oh, okay. You see, the main task at the beginning was to develop an Austrian spatial development concept or perspective, which now has been done every 10 years. It is the platform for transfer of knowledge and information. We do a lot of research and foundations for planning. In the meantime, there are more than 220 studies done, and which can still be bought or even downloaded from the homepage. Policy recommendations are done there, and we have set up a spatial atlas with data, visualized data for spatial development and region policy. Next slide. This is a screenshot of the homepage of ÖROG. Unfortunately, it's only in German, but as everybody knows, Google Translate does work quite well in the meantime, and I'm sure you can find, if somebody's interested, you can find the information. One of the publications you see at the right side on the top, there's one of the publications which you can even download, which is called Spatial Planning in Austria with References to Spatial Development and Region Policy. That's done in English. It's 170 pages. Please, somebody, the specialists could go there and download the studies. Let's stop here first, do a first summary. So when I was talking in the past with people being in place already when ÖROG was set up in 1971, they told me that at the beginning their work was not so easy. So people had to learn to cooperate. People had to understand the challenges and red lines from their partners. People had to develop trust, which is one of the main elements for good cooperation. At the beginning, the people from the national level were sitting at the one side of the tables, and the regional people were sitting at the other side of the table, and not knowing whether they were allowed to speak to each other. But after a while, they got used to it, and so a climate of confidence and of trust was established in the work of ÖROG as a platform to coordinate positions. And this was the situation when the ambassador already mentioned it before, when at the beginning of the 1990s, Austria was in a similar situation like Ukraine or Moldova or the West Balkan states are now. Austria decided to apply for membership of the European Union. Next slide, please. Which happened in 1995, together with Finland and Sweden. And already the years before, we had to do the same work like you have to do now. We had, of course, we had some kind of regional and spatial policies in place, but the terminology was a different one than the European one. For me, for instance, cohesion policy, the term cohesion was a totally new term. So we had to learn about the acquis communautaire, which is chapter 22 currently. And since the work in the ÖROG was so successful until then, it was decided that ÖROG should become the learning platform for dealing with EU cohesion policy as well. Next slide, please. So already before joining the Union, of course, in the beginning of the 1990s, ÖROG was set up some committees to discuss, to inform, to coordinate EU regional policy. For instance, in setting up as well the NUTS, the new NUTS delimitation, nomenclature des unités territoriales statistiques, or working on regional state aid maps, or after accession, so developing the partnership agreements which had to be agreed on between the Commission and the member states, or for the period 2021-2027, the Just Transition Plan. after several years of membership of the Union, it turned out that Interreg becomes, in particular for a country like Austria, which is a small country in the center, I already mentioned it before, with seven neighbors, Interreg became an important issue, and member states had to set up Interreg national contact points, which was then set up in the EUROC as well, again as a platform to discuss, but as well as support platform for people applying for operations in Interreg, the Interreg programs. And in 2013 then, so until then, so after 20 years of
Johannes, I would just like to interrupt you a little bit. So if you can be a little bit faster, because yeah, we are over time a little bit.
I will skip the next 10 slides, okay? Promise.
That's great. That's great.
Okay. Well, but let's just last on the right side, managing authority. The first 20 years of membership, so the 9 Austrian regions, each of them run their own operational program on regional development policy, European Regional Development Fund. In 2013, it turned out that in the future there will be less money, but much more rules. We had 4,000 pages to digest on laws, on guidelines, and implementing and things like that. And the regions decided to merge their 9 programs into one, and tasked EUROC office, secretariat, to become the managing authority, which changed a little bit the methodology of work. Until then, it was just a platform. Now they have managing tasks. So the next 10 pages I will skip, as already said, because there you can run through. These are the funds, European funds managed in Austria, and then some slides about implementing the program. Again, a slide, a screenshot of one web page, which is the page of the Austrian Regional Development Program, again in German, but again, Google Translate will help you. And we will come back for sure in the future as well on this issue. But my last slide now, this I just want to do a final point, so to say, after more than 20 years to be coordinator in a not so easy environment. I have here mentioned 5 final remarks. I just do 3. First of all, it's always about people. It's about the team in your own institution, but as well the people in other institutions where you have to deal with. You need stable teams, you need skilled people, a trustworthy environment, long-lasting contracts for the peoples to build up a robust administration with a long-lasting institutional memory and knowledge. Second point, competencies. You have seen how the competencies, the constitutional competencies, are split within Austria, but nevertheless, it's essential that the clarification of responsibilities between the administrative levels is fixed. And I understood that the Verkhovna Rada 2 weeks ago has already adopted a law to define the principle of dividing the competencies. And the third element is, if you're living in such a complex environment, you have to set up a good coordination instrument, a platform without its own interest other than ensuring the best possible coordination, and establishing an understanding of coordination, not top-down. Many coordinators understand, I'm a coordinator, I can tell the people what they have to do. No, it is more coordination on equal footing, which enables the creation of a trustworthy implementation system, which you can rely on even in crisis situations. Thank you very much. I hope, Andre, that was 3 minutes too much.
Thank you very much, Johannes. No, it is great. It is very important also for this event, you know, so that the people are getting a broader picture about Austria and involvement in the European Union. Namely, municipalities are the strong promoter of let's say, regional development in the sense. And it is somehow expected that if the municipalities are well understanding what is happening in the country on the national and regional level, they can be much more successful also with their applications and with their work in their municipalities. So thank you very much, Johannes, and you got some pluses and hearts and so on already from the audience. Okay, the heart is coming here. Thank you very much. As a next speaker, I would like to introduce Thomas Prorok, Managing Director of the KDZ. And without long introductions and so on, Thomas, the floor is yours, please.
Thank you. I also hope that we get some hearts later on in our discussion. I'm here with my colleagues, with Sophia and Anastasia. So we are the team of the Municipal Exchange Fund Austria for Ukraine. Let me start with just introducing the KDZ because it's a little bit different maybe than other organizations. We are also an association, so we have members, mainly Austrian municipalities, but in the sense of multi-level governance, we have also the ministries and regional governments, as Johannes explained before, as members of our association. And our task is to support local governance, multi-level governance, and public administration reform in general towards better European integration. And this is the big picture. Can you go to the next slide? This is the big picture of why we developed these programs. Thank you, Andre, and thank you, Julit, for this great cooperation. Just to see, we want sustainable modernization of public sector. This is what we do in our daily work. We are 25 persons located in Austria. We work on public management, better public management, so really supporting cities, municipalities in Europe to have better finances, to have better organizational development. We work on public finances in general and federalism, so multi-level governance. So how much does a municipal task and service also really cost? How is it financed by maybe the state government, the central government, and the local governments? How are the financial distributions? And we work on European governance. So towards European integration, towards EU integration. So we have in total about 300 members coming from public sector, mainly municipalities, and this is our core. How we start. Next slide, please. Yeah, together with Julit and the Austrian Ministry already mentioned, we set up this Municipal Exchange Fund. It's financed by the Austrian Development Agency and the Austrian Association of Cities and Towns. So Alexander is here, and we are the implementing partner. So it's our task to implement this project. It's important for us that this is based on a memorandum of understanding between the Austrian Ministry and the Austrian Development Cooperation Agency and Julit. So there is a strong context. And when we started to consider how to approach a municipal exchange fund and to support municipal partnerships, we said, based on our knowledge, based on our experiences, we have to set up a kind of fund. So we want, and this is now already ongoing, we want to invite, and we invite Austrian and Ukrainian municipalities to together develop small projects as a partnership project, and apply the call for getting funded for this. So it's not just about having a common study visit or the mayor's meeting. It's really about small common projects between Austrian and Ukrainian municipalities. That's the core of what we are now doing. Sophia, you get
Yeah.
into the next slide, please.
Yeah, thank you. Welcome. Thank you, Thomas. I will go into a bit more detail concerning the municipal partnership, giving real concrete, maybe guidelines. The A4U support municipal partnership through a call for proposal mechanism. We have already launched our first call for proposal on March the 30th, and it will be open till 15 May. You can find all the relevant documentation, the call package on the project website that you can see in the slide, Municipal Exchange A4U.eu. And how to apply, how to engage. Find a partner municipality, or maybe you already have one. Identify common needs, common goals, and then based on this assessment, agree on and discuss on a project idea. We invite you to develop a common, as Thomas said, project proposal and submit the application. In this context, as for the topics of the project, we cover a wide range of subjects. For example, EU integration and decentralization, environment and climate adaptation, urban planning, social inclusion, and gender equality. The list provided is not exhaustive. We do welcome projects related to these general micro topics and general thematic areas. In this context, the activities supported by the fund are expert support for sure, training, study visits, but also small pilot activities, translation services, for example, and so on and so forth. So this must be the basis of the project idea and proposal. Next slide, please. Concretely, each project can receive between 25,000 and 50,000 euros, and the project duration must not be less than 6 months and not more than 10 months. The final goal and objective of the partnership is to support Ukrainian socio-economic recovery and, of course, their path towards EU integration. So this is the framework and the core. Just to give you a little update on the status quo, we are currently in the consultation and matchmaking process. As you can imagine, and as we were expecting, we experienced a high demand from Ukrainian municipalities. We are active in this sense. We are reaching out to Austrian municipalities, and it's really a work in progress. Also, I saw there was a question in the chat concerning the deadline for the matchmaking. There is no deadline. It's a work in progress. We are doing our best to get in touch with Austrian municipalities. And in this sense, I also want to reassure Ukrainian municipality by saying that there will be also a second call for proposal. So I invite you to not be discouraged by the deadline, but to keep working. We are here. I'm also here with my colleague, Anastasia Stenko. She's the grant manager, which means she is the person who will. She's here, she's present, she's following the matchmaking, she's working on these consultation processes, and she will follow the municipal partnership. So she also wrote her contact in the chat. Feel free to reach out, and in this occasion, I warmly invite Austrian municipalities who are there to engage and reach out, because this is a great opportunities to cooperate, connect, and really make an impact. So this is a bit from my side. I maybe give you back the floor, Thomas.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Anastasia, did we forget something from your side? No. Okay, just want to mention that we have already, let's say, got requests from about 40 municipalities or organizations in Ukraine, where we try to find also, of course, Austrian partners. On the other side, we have to admit the budget is limited. So we are now considering that we will have in the first call between 5 and 10 projects, depending on the requests, on the budgetary requests. Next slide, please. Because what I want to mention, besides the call, which is going on, so the direct support and funding of municipal exchanges, municipal partnerships between an Austrian Ukrainian municipality. We have within the program, and we just want to mention that because it will go into an important direction for us. Also, the opportunity to organize small workshops and study visits, let's say, which is organized and supported content-wise by us. And we saw already that there is the high request for energy security and energy support on the local level. This is what we see in the request, and also waste management issues. So there are now coming two important parts, which are energy security and waste management. And we we'll have this in focus in order maybe to organize workshops on these things. So just for your information, we work very much on the finances. So we have here also with our partners in West Balkan, of course, it's different fiscal decentralization report, working on digitalization, just to giving you some input, where we are also there to give contributions. So digitalization, AI on the local level, but also sustainability, which we do now in with 4 huge, let's say, cities in Europe: Bordeaux, Hamburg, Amsterdam, and Barcelona, about really sustainable budgeting and further developing of local government budgeting. Next slide, and I think that's the final one. Where do we come from? Why do we have this kind of call system? Just to inform you, this comes, Alexander mentioned, from the BASIT program, which we had before, which was building administrative capacity in the Danube region. Unfortunately, not with the Ukraine, but it's also Danube region, but not concerning different funding scopes. I was focused on the Western Balkans. And there we had a similar kind of fund, and it was in our view quite successful. Just to give you some examples. For example, in Serbia it was about waste management. In Albania it was community-led projects, participation issues. In Macedonia, North Macedonia, it was building capacities in the utilities sector. Montenegro, I have here even another project, was more about EU integration. So how can an Austrian municipality support a municipality, in this case it was Montenegro, but in future hopefully in Ukraine, on their things to do towards EU integration? What does the election law, for example, mean really for this municipality? What does the procurement law, the environmental law mean for the municipalities? Last but not least, mentioning 2 important documents from our side with OECD. We worked also for local government on a public administration reform program, which is called the Common Assessment Framework. So it's how the thinking municipality can further develop its organizational structure, its processes, its cooperation and working together with the citizens towards better services. And last but not least, there is now a new publication published by the European Commission coming from us, which is the local governments in the European Union. And hopefully, this is my last words, in some years, not long time in future, we can include here Ukraine in this publication of local governments in the European Union. Thank you very much from our side.
Yeah,
we are here now for
questions,
and I see there is already much in the chat Andre, you have to help us how we do that now. Huh?
Yes, thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you very much. The team, the sound now from your office was excellent. I must really say that that was very good now. And yes, we have a great interest and a lot of hearts, you know. So now Johannes will be, of course, jealous. You know, you got much more hearts than him, but that's very good. So we have in the chat already some questions there, and but mainly the question is also, you know, how to find the Austrian partners, how to find that the step to get there. And allow me just my comment here is, and this is really also comment to the colleagues, to the Ukrainian colleagues, you know, so that probably here for the first call, as Thomas said, it will be also next call. There will be probably existing partnerships that will be prioritized, because, you know, this will be also much more realistic, because, you know, the existing partnerships are probably having also a certain experience and so on. But it's of course on the KDZ side to decide, you know, so maybe also to go with piloting new partnerships, you know, something like this in this direction. But please, Thomas, your reaction to that.
Yeah, there are two things. Of course, it's a call system. So we, of course, prefer when not an existing, but when two municipalities, Ukrainian and Austrian, together apply, they have an idea, they have a project. And this does not necessarily mean that there is an existing partnership, but in most cases, it's already somehow, they know each other somehow. Yeah? That's what we see now is also there. We do not prefer them, but of course, they have now in most cases already quite good ideas and developed proposal. That's the first thing. And we try to ensure that we don't take just let's say existing partnerships, because I mean this would be out of the range of the program. But I admit, and I have to admit, yes, it's for them. It's easier. So what else do we do? We got now already 40, requests. And for these requests, we discuss also with ULEAD and so on, and also other partners. Okay, what are, let's say, more important requests? Where can we maybe also combine requests and then try to support in finding an Austrian partner? Also here, I have to admit to every one of you, that's not so easy within this short time. And maybe we will, for some of you or for many of you, not be successful. But that's our wish. We want to use the requests which are there in order to find Austrian partners. How do we do that? We have the Austrian Association of Cities as a partner. We have also the Austrian Association of Municipalities, so there are two in Austria, as a supporter. So they also send out to their members. So in fact, all Austrian municipalities know about the program, yeah, and somehow some of them are interested, and this is our matchmaking which we do. When we have a direct request, we also try to give a feedback and say, look, this is maybe not good enough, not well enough developed, because it's so open. We also have that, and honestly, we are then reluctant when we say we want to cooperate and that there is not more. Or when we want to cooperate, maybe in energy, in EU integration, in sustainability, in gender, then we also say, look, please be more specific. Because what we know from the Austrian side is the more specific the request is, the more an Austrian municipality can step in and say, yes, this is what we can support. We have knowledge about the energy supply on local level. That's what we have because we have an own company for that, for example. Here we can step in. So please be as precise as possible. Those who write, we want a partner, we will not be able to support. Those who write, we want a partner with a very broad range of topics, we also don't know what to do. So these are our feedbacks. And then please, yes, the program is new, and we for sure will have, we guess in autumn, in November, let's say it like that, a second call And all those who applied now, who made a request, we have in mind, and we'll try to support also till the next call to find partners. We cannot guarantee, but that's what is our task.
Thank you very much, Thomas, and really to underline that this program is not the matchmaking program, so as Thomas said, you will try to do your best with associations being involved and so on. But I would like to encourage the Ukrainian partners and municipalities. You are traveling now a lot to different conferences and so on. Wherever you see either Austrian mayor or I don't know, German, Slovenian mayor, and you have a nice discussion with him, this is the most valuable, so that these contacts are then eventually resulting in the partnership. I would just like to add that according to our data, and ULEAD is preparing data on partnerships of 20 European member states currently, we have here registered 4 partnerships, official partnerships between Ukrainian and Austrian municipalities. But as Thomas stated, it is not that the formal partnership is a precondition for the call. So cooperation is of course beneficial. Somebody that is already doing something, should discuss with the partner and then to say, okay, let's go further. We like each other. We believe we can have a benefit, common benefit of this, not just benefit for Ukraine, but benefit also for Austrian side. So, and then let's go together. Here I could find another question that is in the chat, and the question is going as following. Can a third-party advisory firm submit the expression of interest on behalf of a Ukrainian municipality, or does the submission require direct institutional sign-off from the Gromada leadership?
Second one is we need the letter of intent and commitment of the municipality. In Austria and in Ukraine, if there are third parties involved. So, yeah.
Good. Thank you very much. I saw the hand was raised also here by, I cannot see now, Viktor Stadnik. Yes, from Starosiniavska Selishna Rada. Please, Viktor.
Yeah, finally I got my time to answer my question. My name is Victor. I'm representing Starosiniavska Selishna Rada, Khmelnytskyi Oblast. We already submitted the, expression of interest form. Our topic is waste management, specifically recycling of the plastic. And actually, you answered partially my question. It was about how to find this partnership, how can I raise the chance of getting the partnership? Because, at the same time, we are applying for another program. It's called Urbakt. Maybe you know about this. It's Urbakt from European Union. And there I can look for the partners in LinkedIn. I can search on the web and look for the partners by myself and also on their platform. So you already said that if I have the contact of the mayor or someone like from the government in Austria, I can use this. But my question is like, how can I raise these chances of getting this partnership? This is my question.
I mean, Thomas can go. I mean, I can just tell you from our experience how we are doing this as a ULEAD, I mean, you can, of course, check now 230 municipalities in Ukraine, in Austria, or I'm not sure now anymore how many they are, what was presented by Johannes before. But you see, you should look at the municipalities that are somehow similar to your municipality, either from the number of population and also from, what are the common points that could be beneficial for, let's say, sustainable partnership or sustainable cooperation, not just for this call, but also longer. You must think long term, because, if you are just going now from one project to another project, well, fair enough, you can be very successful, but we are here also speaking about the sustainability, and yes, that's not easy, and everybody who is here now from the Ukrainian side knows what I'm talking about, So it is not easy to find a partner on the European Union. So yeah, but as I said, you can go to the list of the partnership of the municipalities in Austria, and then to find out, which one would be the most suitable, and you can try.
So yeah,
Maybe
I can directly call them on behalf of the KDZ, right, and say that, hey, we're applying, we're looking
No,
for
you
partners.
cannot call them in the behalf of KDZ. So only KDZ can call them in behalf of KDZ. But you are looking, Victor. You are looking for the partner for sustainable cooperation, not just for the call of KDZ. So you should have this in your head. If you are just focusing on this one, then it is not good. But no, you cannot call this.
But Andre, yeah, just from my side, simply, Victor, we don't have the list now of the municipalities which are, let's say, open and say, okay, we are searching for an Ukrainian partner. Unfortunately, this is not the case. And this is also why we have now organized a project like the program like it is. That is the point. So I don't have the list now, which I can put on the website, and then you write all of them. We have your request, and for example, this waste management. This is even something which does not go directly through the municipalities in Austria, but they have associations. They have intermunicipal corporations, very strong ones. And we are now in contact with them because there is an umbrella organization for whole Austria on these waste management associations, and are discussing with them. And Anastasia is just coming back from one of them because that's where she was late. What should we do? We have now 20 requests for waste management, and we want to give some feedback and to link you. I cannot guarantee. Yeah, but this is what we are now doing. We have it let's say we have it in mind, but it does not make any sense that I put now this list on the website and everyone writes them, because then they are getting crazy, not just on you, but also on us. Mm-hmm. And this is why we do it this way. Sorry, I know it's not very, how to say, maybe sufficient for you and satisfying for you, but that's what we do. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and pardon for my code, because our season for our central heating is over, so that's why I'm in the code. So yeah, just pardon for this.
That's fine. That's fine. So thank you very much for the questions, and let's go now to the practical example to let's say the experienced people that are also with us now, and I would like to give the floor to Michael Ricci and to Andriy Mironiak.
Yes, hello, dear Deputy Minister, dear Ambassador, ladies and gentlemen. A warm welcome from the beautiful town of Bregenz with 33,000 inhabitants. It's the most western part of Austria. It's the capital of Vorarlberg. It's a beautiful town to make holidays in summer. So Bregenz is known, many people know Bregenz because of the Bregenzer Festspiele. Every summer in the 5 weeks of festival, the Bregenzer Festspiele sells more than 300,000 tickets. We have the biggest lake stage from the world. Every night, 7,000 people join the opera on the lake stage. So when you come to Bregenz, wish you warmly welcome. First, on behalf of Mayor Mironiak and our two cities, I'm very thankful for the opportunity to speak to you today and to present our city partnership. This partnership between Bregenz and Jaremce is a very special one, much deeper and more extensive than those with other cities. We maintain close ties at the social, medical, and political levels. For example, we were able to send over 50 hospital beds from our hospital in Bregenz to the Jaremce City Hospital, along with many other medical supplies. We were able to renovate the roof of the kindergarten in Jaremce. German is taught in schools in Jaremce, and an annual exchange of students from Ukraine to Bregenz takes place under the motto, a week's vacation from war. Mayor Mironiak will tell you more about these aspects of our city partnership in greater detail a little bit later. As you can see, this is not a city partnership in a traditional sense, but rather a friendship between our two cities. So how did this friendship come about? First of all, we were deeply shaken and saddened by the Russian Federation horrific war and aggression against the Ukraine. In this situation, we want to help wherever possible. We took in many people from Ukraine and supported them wherever we could. Even as a relatively small city, it was always clear to us that we would help our neighbors in need. And so the first contact between our two cities came about when the Ukrainian ambassador to Austria, His Excellency Vasil Kiminets, approached me to ask if we would be interested in entering into a city partnership with a Ukrainian city. He told me about a city of similar size in the Carpathians that shares many parallels with Bregenz and the region of Bregenz. We then established contact between our city, and the first meeting was a Zoom call in January 2024. The meeting was organized by the Ukrainian embassy. We soon realized that we got along very well personally, which is
I would like to ask the participants to switch off the microphones, because really other meetings are not relevant for this one. I don't see colleagues who is speaking, what lady is speaking that intensively, but thank you very much. Now good. Thank you. Please, Mr. Rich.
Thank you. You can take the next slide, please. So there is the timeline. So the first meeting was a Zoom call, and in August 24, we were invited to Jaremce by Mayor Mironiak and the city administration. We gladly accepted this invitation with a small delegation consisting of representatives from the political fractions in the Bregenz City Council. That same year, a delegation from Jaremce paid a return visit, and we were delighted to welcome them in Bregenz. On this occasion, we signed an official partnership agreement that formalizes the cooperation and friendship between our two cities. In May 25, we visited Jaremce again. This time, in addition to political representatives, doctors, and hospital staff, were also part of our delegation. They worked at the city hospital for a week, and this exchange is particularly valuable and has been further developed this year. It is clear that the partnership between our two cities is more than just a traditional city partnership, rather it's a real friendship now. And Andriy will now tell you what this friendship looks like in practice and what our specific projects are. Please, Andriy, and дуже дякую.
Доброго дня. Хочу перший раз, Михаїл, вас привітати. Хочу громаду Брегінця привітати, подякувати за таку тісну співпрацю, за нашу роботу, бо це вже більше як дружба і партнерство. Я би хотів сказати, що коли ми зустрілися, ми підписали угоду 16 листопада 2024 року, і у нас пішли конкретна робота і конкретна співпраця. Ми хочемо подякувати Брегінцю, бо 4 вантажівки на нашу центральну міську лікарню Яремче доставлено і ліжка медичні, і обладнання медичне, і тренажери для реабілітаційного центру, і різне обладнання для кабінетів. Кабінет Лора ми зробили. І це така вже є тісна співпраця нашої центральної міської лікарні і міської лікарні Брегінцу. І хочу сказати, що вже підписана угода між лікарнями Яремче і Брегінця 13 квітня 2026 року. І це дуже приємно, бо ми багато потребуємо допомоги, бо зараз і реабілітація солдатів, і багато переселенців у нас переживає. І у нас є туристична зона, у нас на протязі відпочинкового сезону десь 2 мільйони жителів відвідує нашу мальовничу громаду. І лікарня – це дуже важливо для нашої громади. І ця допомога надто важлива для нас. Це у цьому одному напрямку. Далі ми працюємо місто Брегінс, і наші діти, багато є така тісна співпраця. І коли ми показали, були наш дитячий садок, вони погодилися нам його перекрити. І таку велику об'ємну роботу зробили, перекрили даний садок. Ну, це так, як є взірець допомоги і роботи міста Брегінса. Це вже робота, яка зроблена на даний момент. Я хочу також подякувати, бо наші діти, коли ми їхали, підписували угоду, у нас є мальовничі такі колективи «Цвіт Карпат», і діти виступали в місті Брегінсі. І така з дітьми, вони працюють з дітьми шкіл Брегінсу, і наші діти з Яремчанської громади, і діти з Австрії, вони спілкуються, обмінюються досвідом. І вже було 2 поїздки у місто Брегінс, де діти жили в сім'ях австрійських, вивчали культуру, спілкувалися, і зараз в них дуже тісна співпраця, і ця співпраця продовжується. Так що наші діти вже мають спільне спілкування, спільне бачення Європи. Діти з Брегінсу розуміють, як у нас проживають. Так що ці зустрічі дуже цікаво відбуваються. Хочу сказати, що ми у школах наших відкрили 2 класи німецької мови. І це теж є перший такий крок, щоб ми розвивали німецьку мову, аби діти напряму могли, не мали мовного бар'єру, могли спілкуватися. І діти, які вже вивчають німецьку мову, цей рік будуть аналогічно їхати до Брегінса. І це теж такий важливий крок і для нас, і для Брегінсу. І хочу сказати, що ми зараз готові вже подавати спільну програму з Брегінсом «Ей-Фюрі» для того, щоб її реалізовувати. І я думаю, що наша подальша співпраця тільки буде поглиблюватися, збільшуватися і буде ставати кращою. Ну, вони вже... Представники Брегінсу, вони стали як нам, як рідні. Коли приїхають у гості до нас, ми їх все чекаємо, раді їхати до них і цю співпрацю розвивати. Я коротко розказав про все і хочу ще раз подякувати Брегінсу, австрійському народу за допомогу, бо час дійсно у нас тяжкий, бо в державі йде війна, і ця допомога в даний момент є така відчутна і важлива для нас. Так що я всім дякую. Якщо є якісь, задавайте питання, розкажу.
Thank you very much for this presentation, and it is really a proof of a good cooperation, because you made a joint presentation, joint translation, so it is really nice to see such a cooperation, and we wish you really all the best also in the future. Thank you very much. Best regards to beautiful Bregenz. And I just to be careful to give the hint to the colleagues from Yaremche. You must really be careful, you know, when you will come to Bregenz, what German you will speak, because in Bregenz people are really having a very heavy dialect and very heavy patriotic feeling also for their language. But that's of course a joke, and all the best. So herewith, then I would like to slowly close this meeting, this partnership forum. Thank you very much for all the participants, for all the questions and good wishes. I mean, it is we have a project, we have a program, we have on one side You Lead with Europe that is supporting Ukrainian municipalities in decentralization reform and now very much in regional development and EU accession. And we have a strong and very committed partner on the side of the Austrian government, and even more important, on the side of the Austrian municipalities, to be proactive in working with Ukraine. Thank you very much also to the Städtetag, to the embassy, and of course to KDZ. Happy to work together and looking forward for the next events and next meeting. Thank you very much.